You work hard. You save your money. You check your account balance. In the beginning, the progress feels slow. It can feel like walking up a very long, very gradual hill. Each step is an effort. The peak seems impossibly far away. You might save a few $100s here, 1,000 there. The numbers go up, but they don't seem to leap. It takes discipline. It takes patience. Many people give up during this long, slow climb. They get discouraged by the pace. It is the hardest part of the journey. The effort feels immense, but the results feel small. Then, something changes. You cross a certain line. For many people, that line is $100,000. It is not a magical number sent from the heavens. No bells ring, no confetti falls. But after you pass this point, the entire feeling of building wealth can change. The most important idea in finance is compounding. It is the core engine behind all significant wealth creation. Albert Einstein supposedly called it the eighth wonder of the world. Compounding is simple. It means your money earns a return. Next year, that return earns its own return. This repeats year after year. Think of a small snowball at the top of a very long snowy hill. It starts to roll and picks up a little snow. As it gets bigger, it picks up more with each rotation. At first, the growth is barely noticeable. Soon, size and speed increase dramatically. First snowflake, your first dollar saved. It does almost nothing alone. First snowball, your first $1,000. It grows, but slowly. $10,000. The snowball has mass but is manageable. Returns are small in absolute terms. 7% of $10,000 and $700. Nice, but not life-changing. That can feel disappointing. Most people lose faith here. They don't yet see explosive growth. Now imagine $100,000. 7% of $100,000, $7,000. That's significant. Often more than a month's salary. It's money earned without lifting a finger. Your capital is working for you. This is where compounding becomes palpable. Next year, 7% on $107,000, $7,490. Passive earnings grow by nearly $500 a year. The snowball now picks up serious amounts every turn. This is mathematical magic. The math is simple, the effect is profound. How long to make the next 100K? $0. 100K might take soured 10 years of saving and investing. 100K? 200K happens much faster if you keep saving and get modest returns. Much of that second 100K comes from growth, not paychecks. The slow, grinding walk can start to feel like a sprint. The growth that once felt linear suddenly feels exponential. It can feel like an explosion of progress. This chapter is about why that happens. It's about the simple, powerful forces that turn your small financial snowball into an avalanche. The number itself is more of a psychological and practical marker than a fixed rule, but it represents a critical mass. At this level, your money has enough weight to start doing more of the heavy lifting for you. New financial tools become available. New opportunities present themselves. Your mindset starts to shift in important ways. The math behind this acceleration is surprisingly simple. However, the change in your available options is profound. Reaching the $100,000 milestone does more than just make compounding more impressive. It also fundamentally changes the types of investments you can access. Think of it like a video game. When you reach a certain level, you unlock new maps and more powerful tools. In the world of finance, many of the best opportunities are kept behind a gate that requires a certain minimum investment. Before you have $100,000, you are often limited to basic savings accounts, standard mutual funds, publicly traded stocks. These are good tools, but they are not the only ones. Once your net worth grows, you may qualify as an accredited investor or simply have enough capital to participate in things like private real estate syndications, angel investing, certain hedge funds. These investments often carry different risk profiles, but they can also offer returns that are not directly correlated with the public stock market. This allows for better diversification. You can build a portfolio that is more resilient to market swings. Having access to a wider range of asset classes means you can build a more sophisticated and potentially more profitable long-term strategy. You are no longer limited to the public menu. Another powerful tool becomes more accessible and safer with a larger capital base is leverage. Leverage simply means using borrowed money to increase the potential return of an investment. It is a double-edged sword. It can amplify gains, it can also amplify losses. When you have a very small net worth, using leverage is extremely risky. A small mistake can wipe out your entire savings. However, with a more substantial cushion, like $100,000, you can begin to use leverage more calculatedly to accelerate your wealth growth. The most common and understandable example of leverage is in real estate. To buy a house, you typically do not pay the full price in cash. You make a down payment and borrow the rest from a bank. Let's say you buy a $400,000 property with a $100,000 down payment. You are controlling a $400,000 asset with only $100,000 of your own money. If the property value increases by 5% in 1 year, its value grows to $420,000. That is a $20,000 gain. But you only invested $100,000. Your return on your cash investment is a staggering 20%, not 5%. This is the power of leverage. Perhaps one of the most significant, yet least tangible reasons that wealth snowballs after $100,000 is the psychological shift that occurs within you. The journey from $0 to $100,000 is primarily a saver's journey. It is about discipline, sacrifice, and accumulation. You focus on defense, cutting expenses, earning a little more, and diligently putting money away. Your primary concern is not losing money. You think in terms of addition. You add your savings to your pile month after month. This is a critical and necessary phase, but it is a limited mindset. Crossing the six-figure threshold often acts as a catalyst for a profound mental change. You begin to see your money not just as a safety net, but as a workforce. It becomes a team of employees that you can send out into the world to work for you, 24 hours a day. Your focus shifts from pure defense to strategic offense. You start thinking less about simply not losing money and more about how to make that money grow. You start thinking in terms of multiplication, percentages, not just addition. This is the transition from a saver's mindset to an investor's mindset. With this new mindset, your behavior changes. You become more interested in learning about different asset classes. You spend less time worrying about small daily price fluctuations and more time thinking about your long-term strategy. You start to view risk differently. You see it as a necessary component for achieving higher returns. You learn to manage risk, not run from it. You become more comfortable with the idea that some investments will go down, as long as your overall portfolio is positioned for growth over many years. This shift also affects how you view your time and your career. Let me tell you a short story about Anna. Anna was a graphic designer who was diligent about her finances. For years, she saved a portion of every paycheck. She lived frugally. She packed her lunch for work. She avoided lifestyle inflation as her salary slowly increased. Her goal was simple: to build a safety net. For the first 8 years of her career, she managed to save about $75,000. It was invested in a simple mix of low-fee index funds. The growth was steady, but unspectacular. It felt like a long, hard slog. And at times, she wondered if it was worth the effort. Then, in her 9th year of working, 2 things happened. A strong year in the stock market pushed her portfolio just over the $100,000 mark. Psychologically, this felt like a huge victory. At the same time, she heard about an opportunity through a friend from a local business group. A small commercial building in a developing part of her city was for sale. It was more than she could afford alone, but the organizer wanted smaller partners for a private real estate deal. The minimum investment was $25,000. A few years earlier, that would have wiped out most of her savings. It would have been too risky. Now, with over $100,000, investing $25,000 felt different. It was a calculated risk, not a desperate gamble. She still had a substantial safety net of over $75,000 in her index funds. She did her research, trusted the people involved, and made the investment. Her index funds continued to compound, generating thousands of dollars in growth each year on their own. The journey to your first $100,000 is a testament to your discipline. It is built one paycheck, one saved dollar at a time. It is often the most challenging part of building wealth, but it is also the most critical. There is no secret formula that makes the number $100,000 magical. Instead, it represents a tipping point. It is the point at which the powerful forces begin to align in your favor. Compounding, access, leverage, mindset. It is where your money starts working as hard as you do. The growth is no longer just on you. You now have a powerful partner. Your money starts earning meaningful returns that you can see and feel. You gain access to better investments with lower fees, which is like getting a raise on your capital. You can begin to use leverage strategically, like in real estate, to amplify your gains. Your taxes become something you can manage for efficiency, saving you thousands over the long run. And most importantly, you start to think differently. You evolve from a person who saves money to a person who directs capital. This mental shift is the most valuable asset you will acquire. It is a change that pays dividends for the rest of your life. Do not be discouraged if you are far from this milestone today. Every journey begins with a single step. Focus on the fundamentals. Build a consistent savings habit. Invest in low-cost diversified funds. Automate and be patient. The more you have, the faster it can grow. Your single most important task today is to start. Start now with what you have.